Based on the title, you got it. The Traxxas Stampede is perhaps one of the most underrated Traxxas vehicles there are. Maybe one of the most underrated RCs in general, especially for beginners, and not just for beginners, but people with limited space. And that's for a variety of reasons. One, it's a monster truck, and that just makes it cool and awesome right off the bat. Monster trucks are generally cool, except for this one. This looks like a squirrel. If you replace the body, then it's cool. But that aside, Stampede, now this one is the two-wheel drive, and I'm referring to the two-wheel drive, not the four-wheel drive. I have the four-wheel drive. It's super fun. Bought the kit, built it. It was great. Overpowered it. Fabulous. The thing with the four-wheel drive is there are far more components, right? You have a whole other differential, shafts to worry about. Destroyed one of them. Actually, my nephew did, but don't tell him. Well, he already knows. He was there. He felt bad. So we were looking for the part. Whereas this, you just have the two in the rear. Everything's a lot simpler. Now, key thing, I did say for new kids or small spaces. And that's where this truck really shines. I mean, it has a really high center of gravity. Really high center of gravity. The clearance is probably about 4 inches. Somewhere around there, which means that you can take, because of this design, some of your maybe 1/24 scale model cars, or you can put together a bunch of cans and then just run over them like a real monster truck. I mean, many of you probably remember back in the day where monster trucks, say Bigfoot #1, used to just jump and crush a bunch of these old Buick vehicles or whatever cars they were, and just crush them. You can do that with, say, a lot of fizzy cans, just soda cans, right? Put all these empty Coke cans together and maybe weigh the first can so that it doesn't push off as much, and then drive over it, hit it with the front wheel, pop the front up, and because it's rear-wheel drive and you have a rear motor, it's really easy to get this truck to wheelie like a real monster truck. The other thing that's really cool too, this unfortunately they don't come with it out of the box, but if you get the slash springs, they're not linear, so they have the smaller coils and the regular coil. So smaller coils really compress really fast, really quickly compared to the other ones. It starts to lean and shift like a real monster truck even more, which makes it that much cooler for a vehicle. Now, it does come with a Titan 12-turn motor, which is good enough for this truck, and an XL5 ESC, which is good enough for this truck. You don't have to go brushless. If you go brushless, you can always get a Hobbywig Easy Run motor for this. You could get I believe they make a 4600 kV and just do 2S. There's no need for 3S. The chassis is too high. You're just going to flip over. I was running a Hobbywig Easy Run 3660 series motor. I believe it was a 32 kV on the four-wheel drive. And it just wheelies all day long. I was actually, before that motor, I was running a Tekin Pro 4 HD motor, the 4300 kV. On 2S, that thing would just flip over. It was easy to upright the vehicle again just by going forward and reverse because it had so much power. But popping wheelies on this thing is really easy because of the rear motor mounted system. And like I said, if you swap the springs for these slash springs, oh, this thing leans like you wouldn't believe. Now, that may not seem like a good idea, but keep in mind, it's a monster truck. So when getting into the hobby and looking into vehicles or getting a vehicle as a present for somebody else, it doesn't really matter if the vehicle goes 20 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, or 100 miles per hour. The reality is 100 miles per hour is unsafe for many reasons, for many people, for many places. So keep that in mind. But considering most people, when they think of RC, they think of non-hobby grade, and those things are pretty slow, 5 miles an hour, right? If you're lucky, some of them, maybe. I'm just making up numbers at this point. A vehicle that goes 20 miles per hour just seems incredibly fast, especially something this scale, because the wheelbase is actually quite short. It's shorter than the Slash. You're looking at under 11 inches, so 270 millimeters in wheelbase. And the body's small because it's supposed to be a monster truck, big tires. It's just going to look fast. So part of the appeal and the charm of this truck is that it looks fun and exciting, even at low speeds. And honestly, to get people into the hobby, that's something that you need, or to keep people interested in the hobby, that's something that you need. If it's your very first hobby grade RC, Stampede is just fun all around. And they do have a lot of upgrades for this. You can get the Proline Trencher 2.8 tires for this. They look very nice. They work wonderfully. You can get the GTR shocks. I believe these are the XX longs. For the rears, the fronts, you can get away with the longs, but if you can go with something longer, it would be even better. You can get the short shafts with the XX long body. That fits well in the front. The front ones I do find to be a little short. But like I said, imagine you have your vehicle here, and then a bunch of those model cars, and you can go over it slowly. You can just hit maybe some soda cans, pop the front up, and then just have the front wheels just land. Right, do a little race, go an oval, but make it lean on purpose, run it on the 2 side wheels, pop a wheelie like this. It's just a really fun vehicle. And if you compare prices, I mean, compared to a Bandit, it's only $10 more. This is way cooler than a Bandit. I know this video is not about comparing this to the Bandit, but I would take the Stampede over the Bandit anytime. I mean, if it's free, I'll take either. I don't care if any of you want to give me a brand new Bandit, sure, I'll take one. Stampede, likewise. Rustler's cool, more of a little race, pretend to be a truck. They're really cool, don't get me wrong. But I'm going into the sort of the appeal of the whole monster scene. But this is low center of gravity, so this is going to handle great. It's not going to be able to go over obstacles slowly like this one. This one's going to high center all the time. This one, not as much. I mean, sure, the front and the rear, but if it's wide enough to where both tires contact, it's just going to go over it. And it's just going to be loads of fun. So, I know I mentioned Stampede 2-wheel drive, the most underrated of Traxxas vehicles. And yes, it's easy to work on. So for somebody that's new, repairs are very easy to do. And there are companies out there, RPM, Hot Racing, Proline too, and make a lot of upgrades for this truck. So later on you can grow with it. Really, it's the shocks that you have to worry about the most, and the caster blocks. Now, there are different models that you can get. You can get some that come with a nickel metal hydride pack. I would go with a LiPo, but if it's your very first truck or it's for a child, then nickel metal hydride battery would probably be the best. They do make a variety of choices. But that being said, would I get this Stampede right here? Actually, I would not. I would not get this Stampede. As of the time of this video, the Stampede is, according to Traxxas, $199.99, so $200. As of this video, those are Traxxas prices, are subject to change. Keep that in mind, but I would not get it. And why would I not get this, even though I'm talking about how it's the most underrated RC? Because I would get this one. Yes, Bigfoot. So 10 scale 2-wheel drive monster truck. And I would get, I actually love this one. I would get this one. So this is what the original Bigfoot looked like. It had some crazy overboard, I think it was a 460 engine that was just overboard to 500 plus cubic inches. But I would go with this one. Yes, it's the Stampede, but not just a Stampede. It's a Bigfoot. So this is what I would go for. So I know you're probably wondering, what do you mean you wouldn't get one? Well, yeah, I would get one, but it would be specifically this, which my brother actually has one. And it just looks amazing. The scale, everything is beautiful. Now, this is based on the F100 Ranger. Now, if you're thinking, wait, F100? Yes, it used to be F100 before F150 on Ford's full-size pickups during this era. This is in the 70s. And Ranger was a package. So it was like a luxury package. You would get the chrome moldings on the side, some little interior features and other things, Ranger badging. 1979 Ford Ranger, amazing truck. But this is precisely what I would get. Now, this one, I believe, does come with a nickel metal hydride battery. I could be wrong. They used to, I believe, at one point in time. But let's see, we'll just double check. It does come with a TQI radio. All right, so you get, these chargers are not the best. They take forever to charge. But at least you get a battery to get you going. For me, I would still buy one of these, and then I would just gift this battery to one of my nephews. I have a few nephews. Actually, I gave them all slashes. But this is the one I would go with. So yes, the Stampede is probably one of the most underrated of Traxxas vehicles. It's incredibly fun, low speed, small little places. Say you have a 10 meter by 10 meter, so 30 feet by 30 feet roughly, a little over that. Or even if it's indoors, you can put this in training mode, which is awesome, puts everything at half power, and then just use it in your living room or whatever space you have. And that's one of the things that makes it so underrated. It's a versatile vehicle for somebody that has small space. Now keep in mind, are you going to get a touring car or something very low? You're going to be limited to where you can drive this, whereas this, you can go over sidewalks, right? So if you're on the road, then you want to go up on the pavement. You can, depending on the features that you may have on your yard or little park are available to you. This is just going to be one fun vehicle to drive. And because of this high clearance, keep in mind, it's not going to handle like a race truck. It's not meant to be a race truck, but you're going to be able to go over those old, beat up, 1/24 scale or whatever the scale is, of just model cars. Or, like I said, put a bunch of soda cans, put all those empty Coke cans together, and then just crush them with your truck. But here we go. So again, this is a vehicle I would strongly recommend if you are on a budget. Let's just say a vehicle that is under $300 that you can have fun in a small place, or for somebody getting new into the hobby, this is what I would get. If your budget is $200, then it's a no-brainer. I would go with this one right over here. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was entertaining. And I'll catch you in the next one. Please subscribe if you have not, and have a good one. Be good.
What? Oh, my hair! My tongue! My rod!